Okay, we're going to call to order the committee of the whole meeting for October 22nd at 1:01 p.m. Before I start the meeting, I just want to send from staff and mayor and staff and council our deepest condolences to Pat Piper's family. Constable Piper was a big part of our community for many years. So our thoughts are with them at this time and just he will be missed and we'll miss him around the community. So, okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. The approval of agenda recommendation at the committee of whole meeting agenda for October the 22nd, 2025 be approved as circulated. You're all I got. You're all I can see. Councillor McKay, Councillor Beach, all in favor? I'm pretty sure Gord's got his hand up.
Oh, good.
This is gonna be.
He's got a hand.
He's got it. Does he have a hand?
Threw it up.
Okay,
Thank you, Gord.
perfect. Thank you, Gord. Okay, adoption of the minutes of the committee of whole meeting held on October 8th, 2025 be adopted. Councillor Beach, Councillor McCabe, all in favor?
Yep.
And a hand. Okay, thank you. Okay, we've got a delegation, Sycamoose RCMP Detachment Quarterly Report. Sergeant Murray McNeil, take it away, Murray.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Constable Piper's service to the community of Sycamoose as well. He was posted here beginning of 2007, and he worked full-time right up until 2024 in Sycamoose. He retired as what we call a regular member in 2015, and he couldn't stay away from it. He came back and signed up as what we call a reserve constable. And he worked full-time hours, like 40 hours a week. He was very flexible with, preferred to work night shifts. Said, give me whatever you need and I'll cover in and I'll do this and I'll do that. And he's just one of those rare stand-up guys that becoming increasingly rare in policing and just about anywhere else, really. One of the old salts who really liked what he did and just wanted to be part of that team. And even when he was getting older, like, that was about 67 when he passed and 66 when he retired. He just did not want to stop doing what he was doing. He truly enjoyed it. He used to tell him, like, why don't you just go buy a boat? Lake Sterion's beautiful and you deserve it. And he did. He went and bought a boat and then he kept it for a little bit and he gave it to his son-in-law. Says, I'll let him use it. So anyway, just a special person. And I used to get lots of people that knew him and some would ask for him, and rarely you'd have some of our higher flyers and more frequent flyers. They would even, say good things about him to me because they've been dealing with him for so long too. So anyway, just want to acknowledge that before I start the report. So we'll get right into it as I usually do with the traffic stats. For July 2025, we're talking about our second quarter, July, August, September, so our summer months here. We carried on with 116 traffic stats in July, 124 in August, and we saw a dip down to 51 in September. Our numbers for the quarter this year were 291, compared a little bit lower than the 360 we had last year in 2024. 5 members working results in about an average of 19 stats per member per month. So we're still where we should be. The total numbers of 291 were lower than the 360, obviously, and higher than 160 that we had in 2023. And pairs continue to still be, we're getting lots of those. Constable Justin Borsa joined Alexa's team. That's the team for Alexa, the young girl that was killed by an impaired driver several years ago, and awards are given out to police officers who bring in, I believe, more than 25 impaired drivers a year. And Constable Borsa exceeded that last year. He's on pace. He has over 30 this year alone, so he'll be getting the recipient of that award in 2025 as well. So we had 11 in July, 9 in August, another 9 in September for 29 total. 2024, I think we had our highest total ever. We had 38 in the quarter there, compared to only 5 in 2023. Unfortunately, I have to report that we had 2 fatal collisions in the quarter. Back in July, we had a motorcyclist die after he was on Highway 97, and he crossed a double solid line south of Sycamoose. 49-year-old resident of Alberta was driving northbound. It was wet conditions, and he crossed into the southbound lane, driving too fast, and couldn't maintain his lane. And he was the at-fault driver in that collision. And then on Labor Day long weekend, we had at 7 o'clock in the morning a major collision just east of town, out by the Family Tree Campground. We had a westbound vehicle cross a path into in front of an eastbound semi, and the impact was in the eastbound lane. That was a catastrophic collision. Killed the driver of the car immediately at the scene, and then we had to deal with that. So that caused a major traffic issue. As you can imagine, now we have Highway 1 closed at 7 o'clock in the morning on Friday of the biggest weekend of the year, Labor Day long weekend. We were able to divert traffic through Solsco-Sycamoose Road and Canby-Solsco Road, but only traffic. We couldn't put semis or commercial traffic on that road. And there's a little like a not cul-de-sac, but a little frontage road in front of the campground. We were able to use that to get semi-traffic through, alternating, but it was very slow, of course. So we weren't able to keep up with the amount of traffic there, but we did keep it moving. A lot of the public don't understand what we have to go through when we're dealing with a situation like that. We have a deceased, we have a scene that we have to process. We have to call for the traffic analyst and consult with them. The analyst did not come in this situation, which was good. That lowered the time that the highway was closed. And the analyst did not come because the at-fault driver was the deceased. So there's not going to be any litigation in that sense. So that saves some time. But then we still had to have the coroner come and process the scene. Obviously, there's human remains, et cetera. That you can't just simply sweep it up and continue on with the highway. As we were getting inundated with many complaints from the public who wanted us to do just that, like just open this highway up. But that's not how it works when there's a fatality on the road. So the highway didn't get open until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was back to both lanes. Break and enters, we had a couple of those to report, 2 of them reported. One was way back on Canada Day, July 1st. We had a break and enter to the Alliance Church on Capel Street. And a youth who was visiting with his family, they were staying nearby. He broke into the church and then ended up stealing keys from a vehicle that belonged to the pastor, and then took the pastor's car and put that in a ditch up by the Merritt Hills Golf Course. So we had to deal with that. That youth was identified, spoke with his parents, and ended up not having any criminal charges on it. The theft of the vehicle was, of course, the preacher's vehicle. That was one. And then we also had in August 2004, GMC pickup truck was stolen from a property on Main Street. And it has not been recovered. That particular truck was not recovered. And then in September of September 1st, we had another 07 GMC pickup truck stolen from Wet Up Street while the owner was out houseboating. Vehicle was crashed through the storage gates where he had left it, and it was recovered later in Olds, Alberta on September the 18th. And then strangely, on September the 9th, we had a fifth wheel trailer stolen from a property on Old Town Road. And the thief took the trailer and set it up on a Forest Service road just east of town. And looks like they may have spent a very small amount of time in it. And then, of course, when a trailer is set up on a Forest Service road, it draws attention, and we got a call about that, and they recovered it. Yeah, the other break-in enter, I should mention that, was on July 2nd. There was glass broken in the bargain shop, and a suspect went in there and stole a couple of bags of candy. That was the second break-in. So looking at the stats, I mentioned break-in enters, theft of vehicles, impaired driving. You can see the 29 there compared to the 38. Excessive speeds, lots of those. 45 of those. We were doing more enforcement out on the 4 lanes of Malacqua while the repaving was happening to give some safety to the crews that were working out there. Total calls for service about 712 compared to 686, so a slight increase. And resources, we've been fully staffed. There's myself in charge, Sergeant, and the Corporal McLean. And then we have our 4 constable positions staffed. Constable Poitras remains long-term ODS. He's sick. However, I've got his position filled with a new member, Constable Kilburn, who arrived at the end of summer from Williams Lake. So he's integrated and working here now. Charges of assault with a weapon were recommended against a trucker relating to a road rage incident. I did a media release on that where a trucker had been attacked by another trucker with a hammer after they had a road rage incident. And there was no significant injuries on that, but he did use a weapon. And then we had a drug seizure that was of note. July 24th, vehicles observed late driving around downtown in a parking lot late at night, and a search of the vehicle resulted in $1,000 cash being seized, 30 grams of methamphetamine, which is significant, and some drug scales. So we seized the vehicle and the cash with an application into Crown to have it forfeited. $1,000 of drugs was obviously seized for destruction. That's the report. I should also mention we've got some traction with the e-bikes and the electric dirt bikes. I did a press release out for that and had asked me to do one of those. And we've stopped some of the youth that are driving these things and talked to the parents and warned them that the dirt bikes themselves that don't have the pedals, those are the ones that are not legal to be on the roads. Anyone can buy an electric bike that has pedals and they can be driven like any bicycle. But these dirt bikes that don't have pedals, they're very fast. They can go 70, some of them 100 kilometers an hour. And they're not meant for roadways, like they're meant for an alternative to a gas powered dirt bike that you ride on a Forest Service road or an open private land. So we've had to talk to a few of the families about them, and they've made sizable investments in buying these things because they're not cheap. They're still not legal to be driven on the road. And we even had one incident this month where there's a youth driving a golf cart to school. So we had to talk to the youth about that and the principal and the parents. And I guess there was a misunderstanding about the electric vehicles, and that because there's a bylaw about EVs, but I had to explain how those electric vehicles are actually insured by ICBC. They have turn signals, windshields, doors, and they're quite expensive. Like those are, I think they're about a $30,000 vehicle. We're not talking about just a golf cart that belongs on a golf course. So anyway, that was dealt with as well. So yeah, that's my report.
Thank you, Murray. That's, thank you very much. Yeah, that's interesting about the golf cart, because I've had people phone me and ask me if they can drive their golf cart around town.
Yeah, so there's a golf cart, and like a golf cart that you'd have at Merritt Hills or whatnot, and those are not golf carts that belong on golf courses. And there are electric vehicles, and they have an ICBC plate. Even the ones that you see like Reds uses, that's an electric vehicle with a plate, but it's not a golf cart. And they have turn signals and seat belts in them and headlights and that stuff. So yeah.
And I do share that. It's just interesting that all of a sudden it's just a little bit of a hot topic in town. So yeah. Councillor Beach.
Yeah, through the chair. Thank you, Murray, for explaining Constable Piper's history and everything. He has been around for a long time, and he definitely will be missed, both department and in the community. I think we know him well. I also, the e-bikes. As I arrived here today, a couple of youth on one bike were on the sidewalk and going so fast I couldn't tell if it had pedals or what on the sidewalk. So it's obviously potentially a huge problem. I'm not sure what to say about that, but
and bicycles, like, they should not be driven on a sidewalk. Like they're a pedal bike or whatnot. They're supposed to be on the road, on the shoulder of the road.
Yeah.
Sidewalks for pedestrian traffic.
Yeah, and they were moving so fast, I recognized it was a bike and it had two kids, and that was about it. I couldn't tell you anything else, because that's how fast they were going. Anyways, I also want to ask you, we would assume because of the size of our community, that other communities are experiencing the same thing we are, but in larger numbers. But I'm just curious. I'm just curious how, what you're reporting to us, how it compares to the kinds of numbers and infractions being reported from, say, Salmon Arm or a larger community. Is it fair to just assume
I know
that?
Salmon Arm's dealing with the problem as well. Like I've heard from the staff sergeant there that there's lots of these bikes, not so much the dirt bikes, but just the electric bicycles with the pedals. And the same thing you're talking about, being driven on sidewalks and, you know, coming up quickly behind pedestrians and scaring pedestrians because they don't make any sound and they're very fast. So yeah, they're going through having complaints about it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm sort of, the e-bikes definitely, but the other things that you talk about, the break and enters and the impaireds, and how do we compare to say bigger cities like Salmon Arm in terms of our numbers?
I would say, well, I don't have the Salmon Arm numbers in front of me, but I'd say our numbers are very low compared to like. many
Okay,
communities.
that's what we would assume. I was
Yeah,
curious.
we have a low crime index in Sycamore.
Yeah,
So it's
okay,
It's not a
okay.
not a high crime area at all. It's a safe community. And, you know, we're very infrequently, you know, encountering anything that's, you know, serious of nature. Like we had that file I mentioned where the trucker assaulted another trucker, but
Mhm.
it's not a situation at all where we have, you know, pedestrians being, you know, being accosted or whatever, or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a very safe community in that sense.
Yeah, okay, well, that's nice to hear.
I just have a couple of comments, Mary. One was the accident that was east of town, and rerouting the traffic down, South Squaw Sycamoose Road and County South Squaw on the other side. I think that there was, by the time we got that plan in motion, a lot of the truckers had gone down Campy Sycamoose, and some had come in from Campy South Squaw, and it was a bit of a mess.
So MOT arrived on scene with me, and AIM Highways was there as well. And they got their flaggers out. And of course, I couldn't leave the scene, nor could the other officers.
Mhm.
So we had AIM go out and stop commercial traffic from going down that road. And then MOT, of course, was enforcing that as well, because we don't want commercial traffic going down that road. We ended up having one collision right at the Canby Hall at the 90-degree corner, involving two vehicles, where one vehicle is going too fast and then they can't make that 90-degree corner. And then I had another low impact collision there, which blocked that road, which we had to divert an officer from, which is annoying and ridiculous because we don't need that for these circumstances. But yes, I'm sure there was some commercial traffic that got through, but then AIM put flaggers in place to stop them from doing that. And then they were holding, we had AIM at Highway 1 and Canby to allow the traffic to come out and continue on eastbound. And that they were also sending traffic in westbound from that location as well. And then they would go all the way through Canby and around and come out on Solstice Sycamoose.
So
West.
when, just my experience of that day, when I went to Old Town Bay, it was a gong show.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, like the trucks were turning onto South Squaw Sycamoose, that road by the dog park, and they were doing a pretty good pace, and they weren't making the, you know, it was, so I guess in the future, perhaps that is one point where we should have someone and just divert the semis over onto the frontage road, even here in Sycamoose, as opposed to sending them out that way, because you're absolutely right, there's no space, it's not a big road, it's accidents looking for a place to happen.
Then the traffic circle, will become gridlocked as well, right? Because, and then nothing's moving, and Highway 97 would be clogged, you know.
Absolutely. I think maybe what we need is a game plan when those things happen. I think we should sit down and have a game plan that we can roll out quickly and pull people to the side and let the smaller traffic go and keep traffic moving, but
Which is what we were doing, and we were fortunate if that collision had been a little bit further east, and there wouldn't have been anything moving. Like, the only reason why that was allowed, anyone was getting through was because we had Canby, Solsco Road and Solsco Sycamus Road where they could drive through. If that collision had been east of Canby, Solsco, then no one would have got through.
yeah,
Everyone would have been sitting there.
sitting. But I'm just talking about the truck traffic, like this.
7 a.m. till 4 p.m.
Yeah,
No one would have got to their destination for they would have done weekend. So.
yeah, no, I hear you, I hear you. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is the 30-kilometer space by the dog park, and I know that members have been sitting out there, So is that a high-speed area? Are we finding that it's not? And I know that the monitors are there now, checking for speed. But is it still a major problem there?
There's one resident there that's her dog got struck by a vehicle, and I don't know if that was a factor in the reduction of the speed limit or whatnot. But she's talked to me a few times asking for enforcement out there for the 50-mile speed limit. So members have been going out there. Are we writing lots of tickets out there? No. We're out there sometimes, but not all the time. And, it's lower on our priority. Like it's not a top priority to be out there enforcing that speed zone like there's other areas for us to be.
Absolutely. Okay. I just wanted to bring that up because we do as well get complaints and what happens.
Complaints about vehicles
Speed.
going fast.
Mhm. Speed there. And you know what? And I drive that road 2 or 3 times a day. And literally it's a crawl. Like I don't find anyone, somebody might do 40, but it's not a big.
30 kilometers an hour is very slow. Like that's a school zone. And a lot of people don't like even driving that slow through a school zone speed. So yeah, like to lower a speed limit to 30 kilometers an hour, that's a significant reduction in the normal flow of traffic.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, well, that's it for me. Anyone online have any questions for Murray? No?
Don't think so.
Murray, thank you very much. Thank you for all you do. Thank the members, thanks for keeping our community safe and being here. All right.
Thank you. Thanks, Murray.
Okay, we're gonna go to Owlhead Mountain Bike Park. Jen, welcome, Jen. Nice to see you again. Take it away.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. We appreciate it. Camden, did you have my?
Yes, Shauna will pull them up from the agenda. How's that look?
So this is the view from one of the lookouts on the Green Trail. The program officer from Ken, who is one of the funders for this project and a few others around the region, actually sent a program officer out to do a site visit, which is my first time in the history of grants, is having a funder come do a site visit. We walked the whole entire trail. So the Green Trail is absolutely lovely for a hiking trail. The Blue Trail, mountain bike trail, it's made for wheels. It was an awkward descent, but we got some great pictures. So all the pictures you'll see in this presentation are from out on the trail a couple of weeks ago. So I'd just like to share an update on phase 1, which is now almost complete. The Climb Trail and the Blue Downhill Trail were completed this summer and have been fully open to the public since July. They have been ridden quite extensively through the summer. We're noticing a little less tracks now when we're out doing maintenance. There was youth that were out riding the trail as it was being built and able to ride a little bit further each day. So they kind of sniffed it out and were quite excited to be on it. So the District of Sycamus contributed $89,609 to the project, and we used that to leverage to get a Pacificant grant. And Pacificant contributed $109,269,000. So total project value is sitting just under $200,000 right now. We had a little bit of funds left in one of our other Pacificant projects, and I just received confirmation this week that we're able to reallocate those to the Owlhead Bike Park. So the crew is going to come out and do just a couple more improvements and finish some things off on the bottom part of the trail still this fall. So phase 2 overview. The purpose of phase 2 is to expand the Owlhead Mountain Bike Park, enhancing trail connectivity and diversity for hiking, mountain biking, winter snowshoeing, while strategically linking the Owlhead Trail Network with the planned Bayview Trail Network. And this connection aims to create a broader integrated regional trail system that supports recreation, tourism, and community access in the district of Sicamous and surrounding areas. The Owlhead Mountain Bike Park is an established recreation asset with a growing community of trail users. Phase 1 development laid the groundwork for accessible, sustainable mountain biking trails, and phase 2 seeks to build upon the success by extending the trail network and improving multi-use trail opportunities. So as I said, phase 1 has been really well used. I had Carly from ECDEV last week send me a video that had come across on YouTube. Some guy that was just riding through Sicamous did this neat little video of riding the whole thing.
Nice.
So that's kind of cool. We're going to incorporate that into one of our presentations. So phase 2, we understand that there's a desire to expand the mountain bike park and create new trails. And so the scope of phase 2 will include conducting a field reconnaissance or PFR, so that's part of the Indigenous engagement process, environmental screening to validate trail alignments and identify sensitive areas requiring protection or mitigation, to develop detailed trail construction cost projections and timelines for phased implementations, to design trails following sustainable trail standards, including tread width, drainage, and clearance guidelines appropriate for mixed non-motorized use, to plan and implement signage and wayfinding to support user safety and navigation across the integrated trail system, to apply to rec sites and Trails BC for Section 57 authorization to construct phase 2, and to coordinate with regional partners to identify staging areas, parking, and access management solutions supporting trail use and stewardship. So the phase 2 plan is complete. We did contract Corbin Self, a local Sicamous fellow, to design one of the trails in phase 2. So we've been working with him quite closely. The environmental screening is currently underway. We have one of our staff has a Bachelor of Science, so she's able to do most of the environmental screening in-house. And we hope to have the Section 57 application in this fall. I have been assured by rec sites that it is supposed to be a much smoother process to add to the network opposed to starting a fresh network. So if all goes well, which we're hoping, there should be authorization in place to start construction of phase 2 in 2026. So phase 2 includes a 2.5 kilometer mark on Owlhead FSR or Forest Service Road parking lot upgrade, another climb trail, a technical black downhill trail, and a blue downhill trail. Timeline for phase 2, this can be done as a phased approach or all of phase 2 in order. Phase 2 will see the phased approach. It's most likely how we'll see it move forward with focused and sustainable trail development. Construction will be limited to 1 to 2 trails per year due to the need for individual referrals. So rec sites won't let us put in a plan that says we'd like to construct 5 trails. Sometimes we can get 2 or 3 on one application, and sometimes they'll limit it to 1. We're quite lucky with the rec officer we have right now. She understands the importance to Sicamous and to be able to construct more than 1 trail. So she's been pretty good to work with that way. So 2025, this fall, still will submit the referral and application package to our First Nation partners and to rec sites for authorization. And then in 2026, we begin construction on hopefully all 3 trails within phase 2, but we're totally prepared or as needed to look at a phased approach beyond that. And then 2027 and forward, if there is still a desire to expand the network, then it would kind of look like planning through the fall and submissions into the winter to rec sites and then construction through the spring and summer. So budget, this is rough costing and would get detailed down a little bit more next year just before construction due to price of materials fluctuating. To upgrade the parking lot, approximately $23,500. The climbing trail would be $99,000. The technical trail would be $71,000. And the blue downhill mountain bike trail would be $83,000 and change. The STA is totally keen and poised to support with any grant applications for anything that may come up, similar to the Pacifican. So we're here to be used at Spruce's destruction or want, and there aren't a lot of grants right now. Is that we are looking at a quieter year, definitely ourselves. There doesn't seem to be anything provincial or federal coming down, just where the economy is sitting. But if something does come up, we're certainly going to help with any applications and paperwork. Any questions?
Thank you, Jen. That's exciting. Councillor McKay.
Yeah, thank you for building all those trails in our community. It's great. It's another destination, reason for us to be a destination. I was wondering on your cost, you probably don't have it in front of you, but how much of that cost is broke down between construction, maintenance, and how much of that is administrative? I'm mainly wondering about the administrative costs.
Oh, for sure. So the Shuswap Trail Alliance, when we were created in conjunction with all of our partners, decided not to do a straight up administrative cost, like an administration fee. So we have a charge out rate and we have a partner charge out rate. So access as a community partner, Sickness has access to our partner rate, which is about 2/3 to sometimes 3/4 cheaper than an individual contracting firm. Because we are partners and the sole intent of the Trail Alliance is to work together. So we do have a slight kind of margin of increase on our hourly rate that we charge out on our contractors, but then everything else you see on the budget is our cost. There's use of the truck, use of the tools that we own, which gets factored into the budget. So percentage is, I just did the math recently, we're kind of sitting about that 8 to 10%, and then that all goes back in to use the equipment for the STA. But did I explain that
Close enough.
well enough? Yeah, we don't have a true administration charge.
Thanks, Jen. Councillor Bushel.
Through the chair. Yeah, Jen, just I want to thank you guys. You did a great job. Adrian and his crew did a great job building that trail, and looking forward to the new one. Just had a couple of quick questions on one is the parking lot at 2.5. Have you been working with the Eagle Valley Snowmobile Club? Because I know they've been spending some time up there as well, and they've had some approvals with the rec sites and trails. So that was one thing, and the other one was maybe I'll get you to answer that one first. Thanks.
So we have been talking with the Snowmobile Club, and it would be in conjunction with the club. Like, no work would be done without prior engagement and agreement on any improvements. And then, of course, rec sites authorization. Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, no, I just wondered if you guys were working together with the club, because they use that to 2.5 parking lot as well. Another one was your experience with other mountain bike trails in small communities like ours. Do you have a like a ambassadors, like a bike club that actually gets involved and helps out with on work bees and stuff like that? The bike club does not actually contribute to any of the trails that I know offhand. But what we would do with this trail network, very similar to most of our other mountain bike networks, is use volunteer days. So we have our maintenance coordinator host a series of, it's about 8 volunteer days a year, and we put out all the information and registration ahead of time. They're usually 4 to 5 hours, and then she's on site to help provide guidance on how the maintenance can be done. If there was an organization that was wanting to do more maintenance or be involved, like, we'd certainly be able to guide them with what work is necessary and how to be done safely. Some of it, like blow down, involves if there's a skilled volunteer in the area that's willing to do it, or a trail steward, we're certainly willing to work with anybody to help facilitate that to keep costs down. Okay, yeah, no, that's great. Because we did have a small bike club in town, and I know the founder actually had to move out east, but there is still a bunch of enthusiasts that want to help out with it. So I'll keep you posted. Thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thanks, Councillor Bushel. Anyone else?
Doesn't look like it.
Yeah. Through the chair, yeah, I just want to say how exciting this project is, really. for us or anybody. It's so big and its potential is so great if you think about connecting it with, you know, other parts of the mountain area. And yeah, it's just an amazing project. So thank you so much for all the work and planning and coordinating that goes on.
It has been a long time coming. Daryl, did you ever think this was gonna come to fruition, man? You put a lot of time and energy.
Times I wondered, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. It's moving now. Thank you, Jen. We appreciate your presentation. Thanks for being here today. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on to department updates. Development Services update. Nicole, please.
Thank you, through the chair. Sean, I'll probably pull up the couple quick reports. And just a small update today. I think we're gonna start with bylaw. Yeah, good. So, for us, I think we've got a pretty good uptake in the online web submissions, which is great for the bylaw officer because they go directly to her and it's a faster online process for her to start to begin to see if there's a bylaw infraction in place. So we're happy with that. There was 56, I think, in total there. And then this quarter is over summer, so we're really heavy on the traffic violations this round with 120 tickets issued, warnings or actual tickets. 45 new files started this quarter, everything from good neighbor bylaw to zoning. Of those, 30 are closed and still working on a handful of those. Collections for 2024 have been sent, so those files have been closed out on our end, and hopefully we'll still get a little bit from that. And then the first round of letters have gone out for 2025 ticketing, and next round of letters will go out, I'm not going to commit to it, but soon. And then we'll do collections for 2025 unpaid. So in general, we're just feeling better caught up this year with our collections and following up on unpaid tickets and then unresolved violations. So it's just been really nice to work with the bylaw officer this year. Yeah, getting some consistency there. Then the second document, Shauna, for bylaw, it's just a list of all the files that were created for the quarter. And like I said, super heavy on traffic violations, but good neighbor next, and then dealing with a few short-term rentals out there. So that was it for bylaw.
Any questions? Does anyone have any questions on bylaw before we move on? Councilor
Just a quick one. I see the wharf regulation bylaw comes up 2 or 3 times. What are those specifically about? Do you know?
That's in this list here.
Yeah, public wharf regulation bylaw.
Been someone parking there probably overnight.
One on the 29th, one on the 7th, one on the 2nd. Just overnight parking. Okay, thanks.
Are we dealing with just ticketing them?
Yeah, from what I recall over the summer, most resolved on their own, where by the time we came back, they were gone. I'm not sure about ticketing. There was no towing this year of anyone that stayed overnight there.
We have signage there that says no overnight parking.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions for Nicole? Don't see any. See.
Nope, we're good.
Okay, go ahead, Nicole.
Okay, so next up, building quarterly. Have too much to report on this one either, except we're in general just a bit behind in comparison to last year, but on par with the number of permits issued. Notably for this quarter, we've had some manufactured homes filling in some of the spaces at Hillier and Parksville. A lot of accessory builds over the summer, garages, decks, all those things for the homes that exist there. I didn't have too much else on this one.
Any questions, council? Okay, go ahead, Nicole.
Okay, and then our last one is planning. Well, most everything comes through council, so hopefully there's no surprises here. But we processed 6 development permits and variances in the last quarter, and we have 7 on the go, so those will be coming. We've got a couple rezonings on the go, which are typically a little bit of a longer process. And then last for subdivision, which doesn't typically go to council, but we've been reporting on, is we're just processing a lot of, I would call them paperwork exercises for existing stratas in town. There's amendments mostly. And then we've had a couple new subdivisions come in recently that'll be in the next quarter that we'll report on.
Council, any questions? No? Nicole, thank you very much.
Yep, thanks.
Okay. Parking update, Daryl, take it away. Did you do your own presentation? Is it going to?
It's just quick.
Because I've got to tell you, I've missed your presentations. Just saying.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
You better be funny.
No, it's not.
Oh, no, it's serious?
Well, it's good. It's a good news presentation. Are we on?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so just a high level recap of 2025 parking. Going into the year, obviously, we didn't know quite what to expect with all the limited spots and the overflow being taken away from us. So just to go back in time a little bit, the province had allocated some money for us to go and pay for 5 years of leased land. We then settled on a project or two. They were flexible in helping us prepare some parking. So this was the plan we submitted to them regarding Finlayson Place. And so there's an extra line in there that drives me crazy, but we've got 16 truck and trailer with another seven just standard vehicle, and then 12 spots allocated for the building itself. So we started working on that, and we threw in a couple other sites where the bistro bus was, and across the street from there. So we had all kinds of work, with tree removal and some paving and some millings being put down on all those sites. Silver Sands, we jumped across the highway. We prepped a couple of sites there as well. So in total, we worked on 5 different locations, including the retaining wall, which is a big ticket item at Finlayson Place to get that widened and asphalted. We put some fencing around the old site at 109. We did signage throughout, and then just all the earthworks finishing and the groundworks and all that with painting. We spent 193 of the 500 that was allocated. And in summary, we just kind of spread out, as I said, 23 truck and trailer, Finlayson. So we're 42 spots total over there. 109, we got another 16 spots. In Silver Sands, we did the shouldering along the side, and we had another site prepped for overflow that we didn't use. So in total, we worked on 70 spots that were used. So we pulled that together, and the feedback was pretty positive. People liked the Finlayson Place layout, talked to people that were using it, said it was a good turnaround area, seemed to be working really well. There were no excessive parking tickets issued this year, which could have been a bit of a red flag if we saw that. And we saw the lots being used, and they were pretty full on the busy weekends, but not overflowing and on the streets. So that was good. A little bit of negative in the way comments that I received were just locals that missed the overnight ability to park for free. So we have some locals that would park and then go up the lake and stay in their cabin. They used to use the old overflow around the side of the bridge, and that was no longer available. So
Sorry.
yeah, small
That
negative.
wasn't, but
Yeah, small negative.
that wasn't overnight parking anyway. They used it as overnight parking, but it wasn't overnight parking. So we haven't lost any overnight parking. Just
So if I
clarify.
had to do this over, I wouldn't end on a negative, but that's where it ends. So it was a very small negative.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's it?
that's the summary. Yeah.
Any questions? Councilor McCabe?
Not a question, just more of a statement. Nice job, well done. Throughout the summer, I didn't really see any parking issues anywhere or overflow, like you say. So that's pretty good proactive work to, solve a problem before it happens.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Councilor Evans? Councilor Evans?
Yeah, I think it's just beautiful, the parking job that you guys have done there. Daryl, I think on the previous slide, you said 23 truck and trailer spaces. What's that in comparison to what we had under the bridge before the project began?
So the 23 that I threw out there represents the truck and trailer. And so all we had before this point was the overflow beyond the parking that we lost at the bridge. So just along the railway there, and there's different numbers. I'm gonna say it was closer to 35. I've seen a number of 42 out there.
Anyways.
That's when you're blocking everything. So we've gone from 35 to 23.
And actually, I think we've over delivered with the parking that we had because we didn't have 70 spaces in total before.
No.
So I think that you've solved the problem and solved it well and gave us some extra parking too. So thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Daryl, thank you so much. Okay, let's move on. We are going to Mayor and Council reports. Well, let's start online. Councillor Bushel.
I have nothing to report right now. I'm just on the highway. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Evans?
Yeah, the only thing I have to report today is in regards to the last council meeting we had, I did write a letter to the Ministry of Transportation and got a response that they're considering different options to maybe let folks on the west side be able to have a little more access to the bridge. I sent that to Mike Farnworth and got a response back from his office. Just wanted to report that.
Thank you. Councillor Rich?
Yeah, nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Beach?
Yeah, I had mentioned to Dean that I think the last meeting I had reached out to a couple of councillors for Kelowna in regards to the Quagga mussel, Seabird Quagga mussel issue, and had not heard back from them, which kind of surprised me, but I guess we can follow up on that. So I just want to say that I would like to follow up on it with Dean and see what we can gather from that group working in the Okanagan.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor McCabe?
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. We have invitations that have gone out for the celebration of the opening of the health center. So that's underway. 2:00 tomorrow in Maine, at 200 Maine tomorrow, there's a public input session at 4:30 regarding the landscaping and what folks want to see. Green space landscape. People's opinions and what they'd like to see there. Thank you. Today I went to the Cenotaph for the to kick off the poppy program and Camden, when are the poppies released?
November 1st.
So for those of you that are waiting, the puppy delivery, November the 1st. I also attended the CSRD meeting. It was a little bit action-packed. We discussed the film commission as a board, and it was a board decision to continue to work with the film commission. It's no financial contribution for the district of Sycamoose. However, I did have a conversation with Dean, and even though we didn't have, it's no financial contribution, I still would like to opt out as our council has suggested. So would like to send a letter opting out, as sometimes these things that you just get in them and then they just get pushed under the carpet. And then before you know it, you're in a 40-year contract and you're paying a majority of it and you don't know how you got here. So as far as the film commission goes, I think Carly with our ACTEV and tourism is quite capable of looking after the best interests of students. If that's okay with you, Dean. Shuswap ACTEV and tourism moving forward for the Shuswap region. They will move forward with the area directors and opting out our Salmon Arm, City of Salmon Arm and Second Moose, so they can be moving forward on their own with that. We also discussed the foreign worker program, which is a federally funded or federally driven program. Director Cathcart or Cathcart asked if we would support writing a letter and giving our support for the federal program. But the federal program, as the discussion went around the table, is a little bit broken. And we have youth 18 to 24 and folks unemployed here in Canada that could probably fill some of those spaces. So I think we need to dig a little deeper in our own country to figure out what holes we can fill. You know, when we have 18 and 24-year-olds not wanting to work, that's a bit of an issue. And so there was a discussion about that in a letter that will be drafted addressing that. And I think that was about it for me. So having said that, is there any comments from the gallery online?
No one.
No one. Okay, let's adjourn this meeting. A recommendation of the committee of the whole meeting for October 22nd, 2025 be adjourned at 1:52. Councillor McCabe, Councillor Beach, all in favor. Thank you. That's carried. We'll see everyone at 3 o'clock.